Hello everyone. Welcome to About Japan. In this issue, I would like to talk about temples and shrines in Japan. This story is deeply related to the very long history of Japan. So I cannot go into details, but please bear with me. The history of Hun Temple is very old, dating back to the Nara period around the 8th century. When Buddhism was introduced to Japan. Buddhism was introduced to Japan around this time via China and the Korean peninsula. Many temples were built during this period. The most famous of which are Todaiji Temple and Horyuji Temple in present-day Nara Prefecture. In the Heian period 9th to 12th century, the capital moved to Heian-kyo present-day Kyoto, and Buddhist culture flourished. During this period, many temples were built, and as part of the manorial system. Temples also came to own large areas of land. During the Kamakura period 12th–14th century, the power of samurai warriors rose, and the emerging Buddhist sects of Jodo and Zen Buddhism flourished. Temples such as Kennin-ji and Engaku-ji played an important role in the Kamakura period. In the Muromachi period 14th–16th century, Zen Buddhism flourished, and cultures such as tea ceremony and flower arrangement also flourished. During this period, temples such as Ginkaku-ji and Kinkaku-ji were built. During the Warring States period 15th–16th centuries, wars continued in various parts of Japan. But warlords and feudal lords also protected temples and supported their culture. During the Edo period 17th–19th centuries, the shogunate administered temples throughout the country and established the authority of temples. During this period, many temples were rebuilt or maintained. In the Meiji period 19th century to the present, the policy of separating Shintoism and Buddhism led to changes, such as the transformation of some temples into shrines. However, temples in Japan have remained important religious and cultural centers of Buddhism ever since. We have discussed the history of temples in general, but temples in Japan have a long history and have played an important role in transmitting Buddhist doctrines and culture. Another important building in Japanese religious architecture is the shrine. Shrines in Japan are places to worship the gods in Shinto, a religion that has existed in Japan since ancient times. Temples and shrines are deeply connected to each other, and this is a very interesting example of how the Japanese view religion. This is a very long story, so I will leave it for another time. From here, let's talk about the representative temples built in each era and their architectural styles. 1 Nara period 8th century. During this period, temples were built that were influenced by China and the Korean peninsula. These temples were composite structures made of wood, with multi-layered roofs and painted carvings. Representative examples include Horyuji and Kofuku-ji. Horyuji Temple Nara Prefecture, built in 607 AD. It was built in a style called Asuka style. Its main features include a multi-layered roof and gorgeous carvings on the walls and pillars. It is a World Heritage Site and has many buildings that are national treasures. Representative Buddhist statues include the seated statue of Prince Shotoku and the statue of Vajra Rikishi, both national treasures. Kofuku-ji Temple Nara Prefecture. It was built in 710. It was built in a Chinese style. And you can see the influence of Chinese architecture called Tang style. The roof was curved and decorated with painted carvings. The 5-storied pagoda has been designated as a national treasure. The representative Buddha statue is the seated statue of Danichi Nyorai, which is the oldest wooden Buddha statue in Japan. 2 Heian period 9th century to 12th century. During this period, the capital moved to Heian-kyo present-day Kyoto, and temple architecture also changed. During this period, temples had symmetrical structures, and gardens and walls were also developed. Daigoji Temple and Toji Temple are representative examples. Toji Temple, Kyoto. It was built in 794. It is a typical example of temple architecture from the Heian period, and is characterized by its symmetrical and powerful structure. The sub-temple and garden were also maintained. It is a World Heritage Site, and the 5-storied pagoda is designated as a national treasure. The representative Buddha statue is the Fudo Myo-o statue. Daigoji Temple, Kyoto. It was built in 874 AD. It is a World Heritage Site, and is also famous as a treasure trove of national treasures. The 5-storied pagoda, a national treasure, still stands today as it was when it was built. The representative Buddha statue is the seated statue of Yakushi Nyorai. 3 Muromachi period 14th century to 16th century. During the Muromachi period, the influence of tea ceremony and Zen Buddhism became stronger, and gardens and tea rooms began to be incorporated into temples. The building itself required a simple yet beautiful structure. Kinkakuji, Kyoto. It was erected in 1397. It was designated as a national treasure, but unfortunately the main image was destroyed by arson in 1950. And its current appearance was faithfully restored in 1955. This temple from the Muromachi period is characterized by its gold-leafed exterior, and the beauty of its gardens and buildings stands out. Ginkakuji, Kyoto, built in 1482 AD. The influence of Zen Buddhism can be seen strongly, along with the beautiful garden. The building itself was also required to be beautiful. The name comes from the fact that while Kinkakuji is a tower that shines golden in the sunlight, Ginkakuji is bathed in moonlight, and appears to be a tower that quietly stands out in the darkness, giving it the appearance of a silver shining tower. It is said to be from Shinsoji Temple in Tokyo, famous for its powerful lanterns. Is said to have been built in 645 AD and is a temple from the end of the Nara period. Its historic atmosphere, including Kaminari-mon, which is famous for Fujin and Reijin, is loved by many tourists. So far, we have talked about the history and current appearance of Japanese temples. What did you all think? If you ever come to Japan, be sure to see it with your own eyes and experience the overwhelming flow of time.